Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special bonus episode of the Deep Dive podcast. I'm joined by Justin and Gary, owners of Queen Anne Beerhall, who have sponsored us all the way back since 2021. This is year 3 of our partnership with Queen Anne Beerhall, and I'm so excited to have them on to talk a little bit about the hall, their connections with the Kraken, with the local community, and all the cool stuff that they do, and maybe even give you guys a little sneak peek at what's next and some big news coming up. So, Justin, Gary, thank you so much for joining me. How you guys doing? How are things at the hall right now in the thick of the holiday season?
What's up, RJ? Great to talk to you again. Thanks for having us on. Things have been awesome. We're in the midst of holiday season, Kraken season. Queen Anne Beerhall has been absolutely, the same, just rocking and rolling. Going into the new year, we're pretty excited. And as you know, we opened a new location a year ago in Kirkland, Moss Bay Hall, and we literally just celebrated our first year. So that's exciting as well. And we're seeing the momentum pick up there too. Kind of in the midst of holiday season, very different community, Kirkland versus Queen Anne, but we're having a lot of fun here in Kirkland. It's been great.
Yeah, it's a really it's exciting time for us because it's middle of Kraken season, and at the same time, it's the holiday parties. All the corporate holiday parties, and so almost every night we have something going on right now. This is pretty much one of the most exciting month or two, in the year for us, especially at Queen Anne Beerhall. So.
Yeah, it's very busy in Kraken circles as well. It feels like everyone is busy, but in a good way this time of year. And I'm very excited to talk a little bit later about Moss Bay Hall because it hadn't opened yet the last time we had you on to talk. So I'm sure a lot of new stuff to talk about with that. But first of all, for people who may not have watched the last episode with you guys a little while ago, can you give us just a refresher on how you started Queen Anne Beerhall, how the whole thing came together? Because I love the story of how you got it all started.
Yeah, Gary, I think this one's for you, buddy. Go for
it. Well, I can tell, honestly, when I first, talked to Juice was, probably May or June of 2020. So it was really coming right out when the pandemic just started. And he had an opportunity where this place was for sale. And we didn't know each other too well. We had met each other a few years back. I think the best man in my family was his brother-in-law, so it was a little bit crazy. But when we met, we met at the spot, and there was just nobody in there. It was the middle of the pandemic, and I thought, let's just meet this guy and see what we have, see what could happen. And we sat there for 3 or 4 hours. We walked around the neighborhood, we talked, we gelled, and we were like, we need to do this. Juice is in the mortgage business, right? So a great leader in what he does in his business. And I've been in the restaurant business for 30 plus years, mostly with high volume beer focused kind of places. And it kind of just made sense. We were like, let's do it. This place was an old German Czech beer hall, but it was huge, occupancy of over 400. And so it was like, for us, there was just such a huge space, and they were selling German food and had German music. And we thought, hey, the Kraken are coming soon. Let's turn this place into an amazing sports spot where you can have watch parties and go before the game. We added TVs and good music, and it just kind of went on from there. Like it's a huge success story. We opened, and then for a little while, then we had to close again in January with the pandemic, and we started with about 12 employees. And now between our 2 restaurants, we have about 120 employees. So it's been a really cool 4 years for sure.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey to say the least. And as you said, RJ, this is our 3rd year together, and man, it's been fun. I'm sure for you watching our growth, but likewise, man, watching what you've done and how you built your podcast up. So I remember the first time meeting you at Queen Anne, and how far we've all come. So it's been fun. I'm really glad that we've been able to partner with you. But yeah, it's a cool story per Gary's point. I think there's a lot of negativity and bad stigma from the pandemic. I'm really thankful that we got to be one of the happy stories that came out of that, and hopefully continue to write a good story here for the community, the greater Seattle area.
Definitely. And thinking back to, when we first met, there's been a lot of growth for, I think, all of us since then. Yeah. I mean, we were just coming off our first season, still kind of trying to figure out what we were doing. And you guys took the leap with us. You believed in what we were doing, and we really appreciate that. I mean, that was cool, us able to come together with that. And I mean, Dylan and I also got started during the pandemic. Like the two of us kind of partnered up and started this whole thing. So a lot of parallels there, which is really cool. So of course you mentioned the Kraken and the Kraken coming to town at that point. And so, the beer hall, they've become a staple in Seattle. And I'm curious about the connection with the Kraken, because there is so much connection with this team, even well beyond sponsoring Emerald City hockey. I know you guys get to know, the players, the staff pretty well, and have so many cool Kraken based events. How did that partnership come into being, and what has that partnership kind of brought to both parties?
Yeah, there's a few layers to that, but it honestly, one of the first interactions, and again, obviously, we're the adjacency of our location and the team is so close. But there was a day we were out doing some cleanup around the property and met the CFO. He was just walking by, and we just started chatting, and he was on his way to up to the office at that time, and they were just the climate pledge was still a big hole in the ground, and raised roof and nothing in between. So, there was just the idea of a team coming to town, but, we built a relationship really there. Gary and I brought some pretzels up to one of the board meetings, and, I guess the closest way to somebody's heart is through the stomach. Right. So, I think that started some of the relationship, and it just blossomed from there. We got to know other people in the organization. We actually got really close with some of the players as we've talked about before. And it's just been a great symbiotic relationship. So I think both directions, obviously they've brought in tons of fans and crowd for us, but I think we've also helped kind of galvanize that hockey in Seattle experience and what you do before the game, and kind of how you get ready and prepare to enter climate pledge. I mean, we get on any given game day we get 400 to 1,000 people come through just prepping for the game day, and that's a lot of fun. So we like to make that experience memorable. We've brought in live music. We've done other things. We've had points where there's people sitting in line, and we're out bringing smash burgers to people waiting. We just want to make sure that everyone that comes through our place and to come watch hockey has a great experience.
Yeah, I don't think there was a place around, that could fit over 400 people like we could. And so what we didn't realize was going to happen as soon as that season started, we had all three major television news, people were there. We had, the papers, everyone was there covering it. And suddenly we became that place, nationally, that was on TV when it was like going to, cut to Queen Anne Beerhall in Seattle, Washington, the new team. And, we didn't know we were going to be that, and I think that made that created a symbiotic relationship with the Kraken, right? They knew that not only are they valuable to us because they're bringing us sales, but we're really super valuable to the team. We've been helping promote the Kraken for the last several years as well. So that cool atmosphere that we have in the cool building and that can fit over 400 people, that did a lot for us for sure.
Yeah, that's the moment that sticks with me too, during the playoffs, right? During the Kraken's playoff run, where the Kraken score a big goal, and on the national broadcast, it cuts to Queen Anne Beerhall, and everybody's celebrating and losing their minds over the Kraken goal. Like, it really was, that was the place to go be a Kraken fan.
Yeah, that first series,
it was cool.
It
was, we had people calling from Canada, everywhere. Yeah, everywhere people were calling us. It was great.
That first series with Colorado was pretty special, and how everyone, just again, from a national television perspective, we got friends all over the country that are, see us on ESPN or whatever. So that was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned getting to know some of the players also. I know Queen Anne Beerhall is a favorite of a lot of the Kraken players. I was there when Philip Grubauer tapped the ceremonial keg to start Oktoberfest. That was a cool moment. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of getting to know some of the guys? And before recording this, we were talking about the Kraken trade that they made yesterday, sending Will Borgen to the New York Rangers. And I know a lot of Kraken fans will miss him. And I know that's no exception for you guys. I know, you would like having him in there as well.
Well, he's one of the OGs, right? First guys, and we've gotten to know him, not just him, but his mom and his dad, his family. They come in. We've met the whole Borgen clan, so it's a bummer to see him go. I know he's going to do great in New York, and obviously he's a great player. But that was sad to see him go. But yeah, as a whole, we've gotten to know a lot of the players, and fortunately, most are still here, but. We've had to part ways with a few, and we've gotten close with a couple of guys that are no longer with us. So that's a bummer, but it's the business, it's the game, it's the sport, and it's I guess to be expected, especially with the new franchise.
Yeah, you mentioned out to Queen Anne Beerhall when the Kraken come home. That's the next task.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We had, after the Winter Classic, we had, I think the whole team came, and we just ended up being lines out the door, and it was so much fun. But you mentioned Grubauer, the easy thing with Grubauer, that's not, we didn't have to do too much. All we had to do was carry Stiegel, which is his favorite beer from Salzburg, where he's from. And so, like, for him, he comes in just to chill out with friends all the time, because it's that place for him. It makes him feel comfortable. And yeah, we've been lucky to have him as part in his Lederhosen, as part of some of our Oktoberfest as well. So that was a great relationship.
He's got the OG Lederhosen too, not the $200 costume version that we wear, like super nice, fancy Lederhosen.
He's had his whole life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was talking with him about it that night, because there was some downtime, and I was asking him about it. And he owns that. Those are his that he just has. So that was really cool to see him in that. That was a great night. And speaking of great nights and events and everything too, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the fan experience at the beer hall for Kraken games, because it's really unlike anything else. I mean, if you haven't been, go check it out. Like, you've got the goal light and the goal horn that go when the Kraken score. You got so many cool elements. And are there any, specific elements you want to talk about, or any kind of memorable events or games that stand out? I mean, I think of, Gru tapping the keg at Oktoberfest. I think of those playoff games, but any other cool memories? I remember even there was a player's daughter that went up on somebody's shoulders and was like, "Let's go Kraken."
Yeah, cool.
That was a cool memory. And any others you kind of want to share or talk about?
Well, I'll give that one to Gary. There's the one funny one, and we still have a scar from it when Bowie came in and punched out one of our windows. So
that's right.
I think he was trying to say hi to fans that were outside in line, and they're pretty old windows, so it kind of went straight through. Every time I see him, I still tell him, "Hey, you still owe us for the window." But yeah, honestly, RJ, the experience is something that's really important to us. We have great food. We have amazing smash burgers. We have, great TVs and a great atmosphere. But really, it's the experience that the guest has that's making us more popular than anywhere else. That's what it is. And you said it, when you hit a goal and we hit that button on the wall and the sirens go off and people love it. You've been there. Our tables are like 800 pounds each, which lends it to, hey, if you want to jump up on the table and scream when the team wins, then just get up on the table. It's just it's crazy, because the experience is so huge. And that's for the Kraken, that's for the Super Bowl, it's for Mariners, it's for almost any sport. So experience is super, super big part of us. And then you've met Jonathan, I think, our kind of resident MC.
That's who connected us.
Part of what we do.
Yeah.
Huge
brought us
part
together.
of what we do, man. Like, that guy he's the one that lifted the girl up and did the whole thing. Yeah, that's a big part of it, because not many places have someone that can pump up the crowd and get everybody going. And experience is a big thing for us, for sure. And it will be for any new locations we have, and it's at both locations. So
a lot of elements, but I'd be remiss not to mention probably one of the biggest things. We've got an amazing team. We've got such a great staff. They're all professional. They work hard. They have a good time. They're always smiling. It's just it's a testament to the group of people that work for us. One of the things that's really critical for us on game day is that we can deliver quickly. People aren't waiting in line for a long time, or waiting 30 minutes for food or 45 minutes for beer, all that stuff. So one of the things we're really disciplined about too is making sure our service is excellent and that everyone's on top of it. So little efficiencies here and there. We added a fast bar, so when people walk in and it's packed, they can walk right up and get a beer or get a hot dog or a burger. So they don't have to, they don't have to spend a lot of time waiting. And that's important for us. Is part of the experience is the fun part, but we still got to feed them and make sure that their cups are full. So kind of a two-headed monster there.
If you were to talk about an experience and a day that you wanted to hear about, like I remember the Mariner playoff game. That was on a Saturday, and it happened to be also the first Kraken home game of the season.
It's the 18-inning Mariner game.
Yeah, so one of the owners of the Kraken were going to be there. We were fully packed with VIPs for the Kraken game, and that daytime Mariner game ended up going 18 innings and all the way in through the Kraken game. So we had all these VIPs coming. There's nowhere for them to sit. It was lines. People were outside looking through the windows just to try to watch the playoff Mariner game, and then still make it to the Kraken game. I think actually the Kraken game should have even started a little bit later just because of us, because literally people didn't even get to their seats in time. So it was great.
I remember that they put the game up on the jumbotrons up at the Kraken game, and we were all kind of following through it. That was a crazy day with how long that game went. And I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of the things that you mentioned. Jonathan is awesome. Like, nobody commands a room like he does during an event. I mean, I remember in the playoffs, he was up there. You mentioned the 800-pound tables. He was up there in full goalie gear with a microphone, kind of emceeing everything. I've never seen anything like that. And then the buoy window thing. That's one of my favorite things at the beer hall, especially with people who haven't been there all the time or are newer and just experiencing it. There, I think you guys put up a sign, right? There's like buoy broke this window to let everybody know. And they every time I talk to someone about it, they think it's a joke. Oh yeah, that's funny. They broke the window.
No, Buoy did it.
The sign
no,
up.
he really did.
Real. That actually happened. Buoy broke the window, and so I get to tell him that story. So I always enjoy that.
I love it.
Lots of fun memories there. And I do want to ask, because it's not just about hockey as much as, we are a hockey podcast. We talk about hockey, but beer hall is a great place to go for any sport events, anything else. Right. And are there any in particular, like what's your favorite kind of non-hockey memorable? You talked about that Mariners 18-inning game, but
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
What led up to that was Cal Rowley's home run up the upper deck that put us in the playoffs. That was pretty electric memory moment there. We just happened to have, the weeks prior, we had some event where the sports radio guys were in the house, and it just kind of like built off of that. We had some, something with Simply Seattle. Maybe it was a Sonics event, Gary. I think that's what it was. And so all of that leading up to that. And I feel like that hit, that home run from Cal kind of like changed everything for us. Because we went from, we were already hosting some watch parties, but that changed from us. Like, I just think when you're in that environment and you get to experience that with a bunch of other people, the emotion of that, the excitement, like it changes how you feel about that space. And so whenever we have one of those moments there, a big game, a big win, even on a Sunday with the Seahawks come from behind and win, and you're there and experience it with a bunch of people and kind of share that celebration, it just changes how you feel about the space. Makes the space a little bit more magical. So we've had a few of those moments, and I don't know, that the Cal Raleigh one was the big one for me.
Yeah, you got to also you got to mention World Cup, the last World Cup.
Oh yeah,
and it was Argentina, and the final was literally at 7 a.m. And so we were like, well, are we gonna be busy or not? Like, it's not USA. Like, what's gonna happen? And I don't know if there's a lot of Argentinians in that have relocated to Seattle. So we said we'd open the doors at 6:30. And so we decided, well, in case it's packed, we made 300 breakfast burritos in the middle of the night, and we were ready with them. And we're looking out, and if you've seen our spot, you can see where the line would be. The windows. There's just nobody standing out there. And it's almost 6:30, and we're like, this is going to be just a bust. And we opened the doors, and the line went the other way, and it went down on Elliott and around the block. And we had about 600 people waiting at 6:30 in the morning. And let me tell you, that place, they had a band. They brought in their own band. They're just hitting their drums at 6 in the morning. It was crazy.
Neighbors loved it.
I'm telling you, there's nothing like at 7:30 a.m. singing Sweet Caroline with a group of 600 drunk people. Like, it was the most surreal, crazy morning we've ever had. It was just a wild day.
That's fun. I'm sure you look the other way. Like, oh man, we're gonna need more breakfast burritos.
Yeah, literally. We
thought you had enough with 300, right?
And they went the opposite direction. It was crazy.
Yeah, we sold out. Yeah, we sold out in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Question Dylan wanted me to pass along. How do you feel about the Apple Cup being so early now? Because I remember he went during the Apple Cup. He remembers that from this year. But I don't know how you feel about it. Not a fan?
No, not a fan. It's week 3, you're still playing a lot of non-conference games. And that was just such an important special game. I think next year it's a little bit later again. But man, I mean, as a Coug today, if you would have asked me 2 days ago, it's been
I'm sorry, man. Sorry to bring that up, but that's rough.
It's been a painful week, losing our coach, losing our quarterback. We made the Holiday Bowl, which is exciting, but I don't even know who's going to coach or play in it. So yeah, it's tough. I won't go on the soapbox, but everything that's happening with collegiate sports right now and transfer portal it's out of control. There needs to be some guardrails on it, because right now it's total anarchy and chaos, and nobody wins. I think at the end of the day, it's I would imagine it's got to get worse before it gets better, but hopefully some changes are made, because it is really sad to see all the kind of mix and match that's happening.
Yeah, it makes it hard to follow. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to bring things down for a second there, but I know
okay.
Dylan wanted me to ask about it. So I kind of want to move on and talk about Moss Bay Hall, because you do have a second location, right? I mean, you're 1 year in here. When we last talked, Moss Bay Hall hadn't opened yet, so I was eager to see how it kind of went. How has Moss Bay Hall kind of evolved since you opened about a year ago? I mean, what surprised you most also about the Kirkland community, right? Because it's a different place. It's a different feel than Queen Anne.
Well, luckily this is Juice's, this is his thing here, because he's born and raised in Kirkland. So I'll let him talk all about that restaurant. It wasn't much of a surprise for him. So
yeah, I will tell you, we learned a lot in a year. I think, we had some real big expectations going in. Like to Gary's point, this is my hometown, grew up here, born and raised. So I know the community well. I would say the biggest, and I wouldn't say surprise, but the biggest blessing and just like thing I'm most grateful for is how the community's really kind of been and rallied around us. Right out of the gates, we had kind of our circle of friends that would come down and support us, but it's really spilled over and bled into like, the kind of the surrounding area. So we've got a really cool community vibe here in Kirkland. The thing about Kirkland as well is it's a seasonal town, and it's very different. The weather dictates a lot here, and we've had to kind of learn through that. And we've had some times where we didn't think we'd be busy and wasn't staffed enough, and we get rocked. And then we've had other times where like, okay, it's going to be a busy day, and we got a bunch of people on, and we're all standing around. So there's some little nuances to that, but overall, it's been incredible. For me, it's a dream to be in my hometown, supporting the community, being able to do more than just provide a place. But, we've been doing a lot of events, and with different groups, we've been given, the venue as a place for the high school basketball team or the high school football team to do a fundraiser. So it's been really cool. It's a great, it's a great part of our portfolio. Obviously when I say portfolio, we've got 2 places right now, but there's some excitement about, what's going to happen next, and who knows where this whole thing goes, but maybe that's the segue you were waiting for there. I don't know.
Well, you hinted at the future a little bit, and I mean, I'll stick with Moss Bay Hall for the time being.
Yeah.
But you guys are big on the events. I know you love to kind of partner with local organizations and do some great events. Now that you've been open for kind of a year, you got your feet, set there. What kind of events do you envision Moss Bay Hall kind of hosting in the future that that you'd like to see?
Well, we did a couple pretty cool ones. We had an event with the Mariners before Scott was let go. That was, talk about another fun, awkward story. I think he got terminated a week before our next event was planned with him. So that never came to fruition. But we did do the event in when was that in spring, Gary? Where he came out, and we had a bunch of players in here. Cal Raleigh was in here. I know a few of my friends got autographs from Cal. That was a big deal. We've had an event with the Sonic Legends Fund, and they brought out some big dogs. Freddie Brown, downtown Freddie Brown was in the house. Detlef Schrempf, Gary Payton. So it's pretty cool to see some of those familiar names and local legends come to Kirkland. I'm hopeful we get to continue to do that. I mean, that's really at the end of the day, there's no secret sauce, secret formula. It's just we like to continue to provide a space that the community can come to and hang out. And it's nice when some of those legends show up, because other than that, there's, you have to go travel somewhere to find them. And it's nice to be able to bring them here, and, to see these younger kids, younger generation get to come in and meet some of these guys. And, eyes are big, like, oh, holy crap. It's, it's so-and-so. They're going to meet somebody that, that their dad or uncle or grandfather was a big fan of. So, our current heroes, obviously Cal Raleigh, I keep saying his name, but he's kind of the man. So he deserves a lot of credit. Hopefully he sticks around here for a long time, but there you go.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't realize is just really how big the philanthropy piece is for us. So a lot of our events, go around these, ways that we can help, the underprivileged or different organizations that we can help. So every time we do an event, we try to have some sort of philanthropy piece on top of that, so that we can help raise money for someone who needs it. So that really helps us a lot in the community and to get a lot of these events together. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's the other element that you guys do is you've led a lot of like impactful events, initiatives. I remember the coat drives. I mean, you do a lot of that stuff too. You partner with a lot of local organizations. Why is that so important to you also? Because I mean, it's a task in itself, just creating the atmosphere, making the 300 breakfast burritos and being there for the World Cup game and just making it the environment that it is. But then the whole other side of kind of partnering with the community and doing a lot of the philanthropy, why was that so important to you guys?
I guess I've got my answer. Gary probably has his. I think we're probably both, very passionate about it, but I'll just say this, like, we love what we do. It's a business at the end of the day, but we have an amazing opportunity and platform to be more than just a business, to actually be something that's active in the community that helps, those that need help. And, the fact that we're able to makes it more rewarding. It's not just him and I, but it's our team, it's our people, it's the community, it's our customers. Like, just a great way to connect. And for us, we love the community aspect of this business. I think what gets lost in a lot of these, restaurants, you focus on the food and everything else, but like at the end of the day, we are a part of the community. It's almost like a community service to provide that place for people to go to. And, I guess just the term hall has always been associated with like events, so, maybe it's no coincidence that's kind of our forum here.
Yeah, I think RJ, you probably experienced it when you walk in, and people that walk into the hall, that at least 2 or 3 other people, because it's community. It's kind of a gathering place for the people that live in that area. We're gonna get some people from the outskirts that are coming to a Kraken game, and we love it. Welcome them on in and show them what our community is like. But really, the community is the community. And honestly, season ticket holders, for one, have become a big part of the community that we have because they come every single game. And then so when you see other people, actually, we should get some a kickback from some of those season ticket sales, because when other people come in and buy tickets on Ticketmaster and they come in and go, this is what the season ticket holders are like, because it's such a great time. But yeah, the community aspect is just important. And the fundraisers bring those people, and it helps those people. So just for us, it's just cool to be able to do that for people. So
yeah, and the community aspect is huge. I mean, we're all about the community at ECH too, this great community of Kraken fans that we've built. And just like that, you've got the regulars, the season ticket holders that come in, you've got the new people you're introducing to the sport. It's a lot of that same stuff. So I love hearing about that. And now, Justin, you did mention about what might be next. And if you thought I was going to let you off the hook, you're wrong about that. So Queen Anne Beerhall is doing great. Moss Bay Hall is doing great. What's next for the group? I mean, do you have any plans for expansion? Any new concepts in the works? Anything that you're working on?
Oh, I love the question, and I appreciate it. Yeah, we're excited about what we're doing. There's probably a point where we'll be satisfied, but this is an incredible town, city, sports town, and we're excited about a little project we're working on right now. We can't divulge all the details just yet, but I will promise you, when the time is right and we have everything kind of finalized, that we'll be happy to share with you. But it is really exciting. I think it fits well within our growth plan. It kind of ties in with our concept, and it'll be very much just a part of the same community, the same sporting vibe as you're used to.
I'm just going to add in there that it has potential to be our most exciting location we've ever opened. So that, I don't know how you read that, but it's really, really going to be cool. So definitely everyone should definitely get on our social and our Instagram and Facebook, and just and because that announcement hopefully will be in the next month or so.
All right. You hear that, everybody? Stay tuned. Some exciting news coming. You will hear it from these guys. You'll hear it from Dylan and I for sure. If you listen to the podcast, if you watch the post-game show, we will tell you as soon as the news is out and we can share the exciting stuff that we know. So it's going to be great. Thanks for giving a little hint there. Appreciate
more smash burgers for everyone.
Yes, more smash burgers. That's the big thing. And then, as it seems like expansion is on the mind, right? And, I wonder, how do you kind of maintain that feel that you want to have at each location while you're kind of scaling the vision of the beer hall to different places?
I mean, I can just quickly, from my perspective, is that The speed of which we could expand or scale is absolutely dependent on the coolest and most perfect location that we can get. And I know that people say that location, but for us, when you look at Queen Anne Beerhall and you look at Moss Bay Hall, they're such perfect locations in the most perfect communities that if we didn't find another one like that for 5 years, we wouldn't open one. I mean, it has to be the perfect place with the perfect community and people. And so that's literally where we don't think about scaling unless we look for that spot that we really want.
Yeah, I couldn't say that better. The other element obviously is our team, right? Because growing quickly, you can get diluted really fast. I don't know what the capacity is for the human to have, however many relationships, but there's definitely the ceiling to that. And for me, it's important that I know everyone that works for us. And so, getting to know the team. I mean, like we've spent the last year here at Moss Bay, I know my team here very intimately, the team at Queen Anne very intimately. And, going into at their location, it's, we're going to be taking a few pieces probably from each, but then bringing a whole new group of people in. And that's exciting. That's fun. But it's also like, at some point you don't want to overgrow to the point where you kind of lose sight of that. At least for me, I want to be connected to the people, the team that works for us.
Yeah, it's important to kind of keep that vision together. And I'm sure it's a challenge for you guys too, as you're growing and you see so much success, right? You want to just expand, grow so fast, but you got to make sure to kind of keep that feel. And then speaking of that job that you guys have as entrepreneurs, right? Who have started this business and have grown this business. I'm sure there's some people out there listening, watching that, that might feel inspired, right? That would want to kind of create some community space that's really about community connection like you guys have done. I mean, like we've done at ECH, right? It doesn't have to be necessarily a restaurant or a hockey community or whatever, but do you have just any kind of general advice that you'd give to an aspiring entrepreneur that wants to create a space that's so special in the community like that?
Well, there's two parts to that. And part of it is, I'll say this as an entrepreneur and even kind of what Gary was saying about location, like we've had to say no to a lot of really good opportunities so we can say yes to the great one. And I think as anyone that's going to start something, like, you're going to be faced with a lot of decisions and ideas and thoughts and for it to be successful and effective, it's got to check all the boxes. And if it misses one, there's one risky factor or whatever, you gotta maybe think twice about it. But anyone that, is passionate about community and getting involved, I guess the other side of that coin is like, you just got to start, you don't, if we're talking about businesses and locations, but and I'm sure the same for you, man. You started a podcast, in a town that you weren't from, and look at where getting a press pass to go attend all the games you didn't have before. I mean, you've got a cool story as well, but it just takes action. You gotta take that first step. So I literally just said the two polarizing themes. Yeah. But they really, I mean, A action, but B, you gotta, be selective when it matters. And those are the two pieces of advice I give there.
Yeah. And I think that, and RJ, you probably would agree with this, but also what's important for us is that every so often you got to sit down and check yourself as far as what your true values are and where you're going. It's really important. It's really easy to get swept up into what's happening. And we sit down every few months and say, okay, let's step back and go, what are our values? What are our goals? What are we really trying to get here? And if you're passionate about your business, whatever it is, that's where you got to come back to, right? From the heart and what you're really trying to do and community and stuff like that. Is if you can keep doing that every once in a while, you'll stay on track for sure.
Yeah. I'll leave this last thought here too. And it's like the adage goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It really does help to have a village of people with you and to find the right people to work with. And to Gary's point, there's a getting together and discussing and talking and planning, but part of it is knowing what we're all good at and complementing ourselves with others, because there's things that Gary's incredible at that I can't do. There's things that I'm incredible at he can't do, and the rest of our team, and that's building that together is how we've gotten here. And there's no way in heck I would have wanted to or gotten to where we're at by doing this alone. So it takes a village.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's certainly the element with Dylan and I mean, we cover a lot of each other's, spots, deficiencies, whatever. We're just good at different things, but we work so great together. And you had our photographer, Jen, who's awesome and brings a whole other skill set to what we do. So it's definitely the case. And yeah, there were definitely times where Dylan and I kind of had to, especially as this was evolving, like, are we YouTubers? Are we a podcast? Are we reporters now that we are credentialed? What's going on here? And so it is important to kind of take that step back and look at, okay, what are we really? What do you really want to be? And so I guess that's my next question to you guys, just in short, like in a sentence or so, what do you want the Hall Group's legacy to be when all this is said and done?
I know it's a big one.
It's a big question to put on you guys, but how do you see yourselves? What do you want
shooting from the hip here, thinking about present day, but there's a couple things that I think matter, and one of which I feel like we're already starting down that path. But like when I grew up here in Seattle when I was a kid, I would go to games with my brother. We'd go to the Kingdom, and I remember always walking by FX McCrory's, and that was like the place to be. And so as a child, emulating that or admiring that growing up, I'm like, that place was synonymous with with the Kingdom and the Seahawks and the Mariners at the time. So Queen Anne Beerhall, I feel is on that path. We're a staple part of the Kraken community. So if I were to have like one wish for our legacy is that we get to be indelibly part of the Seattle sports memory lexicon for however long of a period. It would be cool to be, 40, 50 years from now and still be standing and still be part of that. I've been to cities in like New York and Chicago, and, there's a place called Sluggers right across from Wrigley Field that's, 40, 50 years old. And it's an institution. And, I hope that's part of our legacy. The other part, obviously, and we talked about already, but just our involvement in the community. I want people to look back and go, okay, those guys actually, they were a lot of fun. They had some great parties, but man, they did a lot of good things for the community. They helped other people. They made the community around them better. So those would be my two things.
Yeah. Mine's a little simpler. Mine is just that I've been in the business for a while, and when I walk into Queen Anne Beerhall and it's packed and I feel the vibe and it's loud and people are happy and I hear people talking, and it just makes me so happy. And so for me, as the same thing happened with Moss Bay Hall, and as we do expand, however that happens, I just never want to lose touch with every restaurant being like that, to have that positive vibe. I'll be out front of the restaurant and someone will be walking by to go in, and they'll be telling their friends, man, this place is so great. Like, have you been here before? Like it just, those things are exciting to me. And if you talk about my happiness, that's what I want. I want, as we expand, to have that vibe in every place. That's pretty much where I'm coming from, for sure.
I'll throw one more, and this is, I know, a joint thing for Gary and I, but because we're both foodies, we love to eat, we love to cook, we love to all that. But we're really passionate about the product that we put together. And one of our first big missions was we wanted to have the best damn burger in Seattle. And obviously, as subjective as that is, I feel like we've made it into the conversation. And to some people we are, and some people we're not their cup of tea. But I think for the rest of the community, that we're always known as someone that puts a good product together. So and that's part of the vibe that Gary talked about. But when you that first bite in that smash burger, we all know how good that is. So hopefully that maintains and holds the test of time.
You're way ahead of me, man. So this was going to be my last question to close it out. And I'm a foodie too. I absolutely love the food. Lots of great things about Queen Anne Beer Hall, but the food, I just can't be beat for me. And so it's one of our fan favorites. We mention it every time on the podcast. As soon as the calendar turns over, the burger of the month. It's one of our favorite things to talk about. And can you kind of just give us a look behind the scenes at the process of deciding the burger of the month? Because they're all so different, right? No two are anywhere near the same.
You're trying to get next month's burger of the month out of us, which we usually don't let that out until the first. So we might. I
was trying to get a sneak peek here. I got to do my reporting, right? We
might be able to do that.
Get the scoop.
But Juice can tell you tell you the process that we go through. It's pretty.
Yes, and maybe a special, special for the ECH community here. So man, the first couple burgers of the month started out were just, some ideas that usually start on a text thread between Gary and I, and it's usually between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. We're just, hey, what about this? Or got this idea for a burger. So, that's kind of manifested from, the first few that we did to our team, our kitchen team, our staff, Chef Alex. We've got to actually, we've been doing burger testings now. Like we got to invite you out for one of those actually, RJ.
I would love to go. That would be great.
We actually will test out a few, a few months in advance. And we had one this week actually. And, I think we tested 3 or 4 burgers, Gary. And 2 were like perfect nails dialed. And the other 2 were like, okay, we got to go back to the lab and, work out a few things, but it's a fun process. I don't think anyone, is disappointed that they have to do some burger tasting. It's usually something we look forward to, but, that's really it, man. It's a collective creative process that, our managers, our kitchen, leadership all kind of work together. And, the fact of the matter is anyone can come up with a concept. And if it's a good enough idea, like it goes somewhere on a piece of paper, and eventually, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, we're testing the first version of it. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, I'll just tell you, for the exclusive, just for your viewers, listeners, if there's anyone from back east, we have the chopped cheese is coming in January, on January 1st.
Oh, let's go.
A lot of people excited about that. It's been incredible. The meat we have made just specifically for us. It's gonna be an awesome sandwich. And then in February we are looking at the Lunar New Year coming on in late January, and so we're gonna have some really cool stuff coming up with that. Could be
you're the snake. Might be a snake burger. I don't know. Just kidding.
Could be some sort of bourbon, pork belly.
If anyone could pull it off, I think it's you
something
guys.
like that. But it's gonna be amazing. Yeah, it's good. We're excited about that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the preview there. Yeah, you heard it here first. Chopped cheeseburger next month for January. I love a good chopped cheese. I'm excited. I got to stop by and
it'll be on a roll this time, not on a normal bun. So something.
I mean, as it should be, right? Staying with the spirit of the thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love to hear that. So before we go, that was kind of the last question for you. But for those who don't know, and there probably shouldn't be too many if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, but for those who don't know, let everybody know where they can find you, the physical locations, and on social media, because that's where you can kind of keep everybody up to date on all the news for all the events and everything you've got going.
Yep. So
the physical locations are 203 West Thomas, which is about 2.5 blocks from the Climate Pledge, going to the west, going toward the water. So we're right there near Elliott. You can't miss us. Huge spot. In Kirkland, we're at 111 Central Avenue, which literally is in down. What's that?
Central Way.
Sorry, it's right there downtown at the waterfront, right in the middle of all that stuff, right on Central and Lake. So that's cool. And then Juice, tell them about that.
I was just going to say, social media. We're on Facebook. We're on X under Queen Anne Hall, and we've got 2 channels on Instagram, Moss Bay Hall and Queen Anne Beerhall. Easy to find us, and look forward to engaging with you there. I definitely would recommend, if you're not following us, to follow, especially if you're interested and excited about updates and events that we're doing. We have a lot of events planned constantly. We've got watch parties and all sorts of cool things coming up. So it's a great thing to be able to plug into to know what's going on.
Yep. And now you can go to thehallgroup.com, and that'll give you access to both of our websites. And we have event pages set up on both of those. And we have a huge New Year's Eve coming up. It's going to be exciting. We order VIP tables, and it's going to have a balloon drop and everything. So check that out for sure for the next week.
Yeah, there's something for everybody as far as the events, and also, keep an eye out, because I know you guys, we love to do some joint ticket giveaways every now and again for Kraken tickets. You guys have been awesome about that. So, if you're looking out for events, or even just, maybe a chance to win a pair of free Kraken tickets every now and then, give them a follow on social media. So Justin, Gary, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate having you on, and I'll see you guys at the hall.
See you, brother.
Thanks, RJ. Yeah, appreciate it, man.